Yes, England fans, it's that time of year again, the international break coming up. The boys have decided to get the band back together following the European final to give it a go at the World Cup. So come on, England, World Cup qualification on its way. Hello everyone, welcome back to Channel England Football. My name's Gary and I'm taking a look at England's latest squad announcement. So this is for the games against Hungary, Andorra and Poland coming up in the next week. So let's get into this one. I'm not going to be discussing those games. I'll be discussing those games in another video that I'm going to release on Monday. But let's take a look at this squad. The first squad England have put out since losing the final. A big welcome to anybody who's new here. Please like and subscribe. And hello again to anyone who's returning. So yeah, these next games then. So this is Southgate's first squad announcement since losing that final. Still not watched back on that final. But this squad, it's exciting. It's quite familiar. You know, looking at the squad, comparing it with that squad that made it to the European finals, it's almost identical. Only a couple of players here or there missing out. So looking straight at it, we've got Sam Johnson, Jordan Pickford and Nick Pope. We've then got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Connor Cody, Reece James, Harry Maguire, Tyrone Mings, Luke Shaw, John Stones, Trippier and Walker. So still an awful lot of full-backs and right-backs in that squad. Jude Bellingham, Jordan Henderson, Jesse Lingard, Mason Mount, Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice, Patrick Bamford, who obviously that's got the headlines in this squad, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Saka, Sancho and Sterling. So initially looking at that, yeah, my first observation is that Southgate is still probably going to look to stick with the system that served him well during the Euros, and why not? Let's be honest, as much as we all moan maybe about how we could be a little bit more attacking, it worked. It got us to our first final in however many years it was by the time we did it. We didn't win it, I'm afraid, but obviously this team, this squad, we needed to keep it together. I'm glad he has. There's obviously, you know, there's a good system there. There's flexibility with the system as well and with that squad. Interesting. It's great to see Trent Alexander-Arnold back in here. They've been so disappointed not to have made, obviously, the Euros. Well, he did make the Euros, but had to pull out through injury. And then, yeah, it's great to see Jesse Lingard come in. He would have been disappointed not to make the European finals, but it's great to see him in there. And Patrick Bamford getting his shout. You know, absolutely. I mean, I did tweet, actually, about a couple of players of the day, like Mikel Antonio for one. I think this past 2 weeks he's became West Ham's all-time Premier League top goal scorer. You know, I did tweet, is he a player that has constantly been missing out unfairly for England? But he still doesn't make this squad despite breaking that record. No Danny Ings, but Patrick Bamford, you know, he deserves his shout, doesn't he? Whether he'll get a game or not, I don't know. Looking back at the Euros, you know, it was only really Harry Kane who got a shout. Dominic Calvert-Lewin never really got a look in, and there was a lot of changes throughout midfield. Bellingham never got really much time during the Euros. Connor Cody didn't. I'm just looking at the Reece James didn't really. So yeah, there's a few players in there, and you could argue Sancho didn't as well. You know, so there's a few players in there actually that I've got probably a lot to prove moving forward and say, you know, you should have included me in those games. But it's an interesting, it's an exciting squad. It's still young, very young, but then with some fantastic players. You know, some of these players are coming off the best summer. So, you know, you've got Rice, who's at the minute unplayable in terms of being against him. Calvin Phillips, ain't one of England's best players in the summer, as was, you know, Saka. Great to see him. Sterling, obviously, was probably our player of the tournament alongside Jordan Pickford, who was my player of the tournament. Harry Maguire had a fantastic tournament despite going there injured. It's a good squad. It's a good squad. I think these next 3 games are going to be very competitive. Like I said, I'll be doing another video on Monday breaking those games down. But this squad for me is not really full of surprises. Bamford, isn't really a surprise. He deserves his place. I think there's cause for 1 or 2 players each squad really to either, you know, come in or go out. Lingard's obviously one of them. Bamford's one of them. Keep calling him Pamford. But yeah, no, you know. So obviously, if he's fit, Rashford comes into this squad. But you know, looking at Rashford, he's not had the best 12 months, has he? You know, he's not had the best 12 months for club or country. You know, he didn't really do anything at the Euros. Wasn't really the player we hoped he was going to be. You know, looking back at him 2 or 3 years ago. So it's a big season for Marcus Rashford this year. But it's great to see Bamford in. And, Harry Kane as well, there was a bit of and ahhing whether he's actually going to make the squad. There's obviously been huge speculation this summer about whether he's going to stay at Spurs or go to Man City. Some people, have been asking, does it matter, from an England perspective, does it matter who he plays for? Not really. No, I don't think it does. I think it doesn't matter who he plays for. He's the number one man if he went to City or Spurs. So, he is where he is. He's comfortable. We still know we're going to get almost the same Harry Kane now, so it's probably a safer option for England moving forward, that he's staying where he is. We've all seen big players, amazing players move to other clubs and it just doesn't work out. So it's a safer option for England and for Kane to stay where he is, but I can see why he wanted to move. But the squad is, it's a strong squad. I'd like to see Jordan Henderson come in and I'd like to see someone really take control of that centre mid. I know we've got Rice and Phillips, but it's just anyone. It's that number 10. I think he'll play Mount. I'd like to see Bellingham get more of a go as well, more of a shout. I'd like to see him experiment, particularly against Andorra. I think the other games, Hungary and Poland, are very difficult, particularly because they're away. By far the two best other teams in the group, no offence to Andorra. But make no mistake, this is a tough, strong, resilient, experienced group of players for a tough 3 games that are coming up. These are going to be the key games for the World Cup qualifying. England at the minute are in a great place. If we pick up a win against Hungary away from home, the way the group is at the minute, we're well on our way to the World Cup. Big if, though. It's going to be a big ask going to Hungary and getting a positive result. They're a good team. This squad, though, I think there's enough depth there, enough experience for England to do really well. And, let's get behind them. There's going to be no fans there at the stadium. England fans aren't allowed to travel. So let's all get behind them on social medias or whatever we can. I'm looking forward to seeing England back in action. It feels like, I know it wasn't, but it feels like months ago. But I just need to get that Italy game out of my system. I need to get it out of my system. Like I said, I've not watched it back. I still can't. I still don't want to talk about it. But I need to get it out of my system. I need to start watching England again and start making more memories and forget the final. I will come back to it later on, but it's still very raw. But come on, England. Progress now. This is the steps to the World Cup final. This is what I'm saying. We're carrying on our progress to winning the World Cup. So come on, England. Great squad. And let's have you.